Hi, this is attorney Jamie Miller, and I'm grateful that you're joining me for another edition of the Miller Law Chronicle Podcast. Today, we are going to talk about identity theft. I know that it's something that you're concerned about and something that we all fear. We're starting to see a real increase in recent months in identity theft. So I just wanted to get some information out there that will help you to figure out if, in fact, your identity has been stolen. And if it has, some steps that you can take to protect yourself moving forward and to help yourself get back on your feet as far as your debt goes. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. If you're enjoying the Miller Law Chronicles, which I hope you are, I would ask that you subscribe and like us at Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube or wherever you find your podcasts. Thank you so much for listening. This is attorney Jamie Miller, and today we're going to talk about identity theft. It's a topic that I wish I didn't have to talk about, but it's something that we're seeing in our office more often than we have seen in the past. And I wanted to chat just for a few minutes to help you understand what you can do if you suspect that you've had identity theft, how you can figure out if you've dealt with that or if you suffered from somebody stealing your identity. So if you're receiving bills for items you did not buy or accounts you don't recognize or medical services you didn't use, so if you're seeing those bills come in and you don't recognize it, you could have an issue with identity theft. If you see charge cards or bills that come in each month that you don't identify, that you can't figure out what the charges came from, it could be identity theft. Or if you're getting notification that an unfamiliar account has been turned over to collection agency, or you're receiving calls from debt collectors, it could be another sign of identity theft. Worst case scenario is when identity theft impacts your bank account. So if you're seeing withdrawals from your bank account that don't look familiar, you didn't do that, or you stop receiving bills or other mail. Sometimes people put in a change of address under your name and on your credit cards because they don't want you to see those charges. So if you stop receiving mail from certain creditors that you received in the past, that could be a sign also. Or notification that more than one tax return was filed in your name. Someone could be trying to take your tax refund. So if you see that a tax return has been filed on your name that you didn't submit, that can be another sign. Or a denial of credit because of fraud, because your credit score might be dropping. So what you should do, if you believe that any information has been stolen or fraudulently taken, it's hard to know what to do or where to report it. So here's a few things that you can consider if you believe that you're identity theft victim. So first thing to do, if you see that credit card that has charges that you're not familiar with, or you get a medical bill, you're not getting mail, contact the company that you believe the fraud occurred with and let them know that your identity may have been compromised. You have to check your credit report. You have to do it every month, every 2 months, every quarter. Make sure you get on a pattern of checking your credit report to see if there's things on there or a drop in your score that may not have been impacted by actions on your own. So request copies of your credit report from all 3 nationwide credit bureaus. That's Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Keep an eye out for any information that's inaccurate or incomplete or unfamiliar accounts or addresses that are appearing on your credit report. You may see on your credit report that your credit's been pulled, but you didn't give anyone authority to do that. You can get a free copy of your credit report from any of the 3 main credit bureaus at www.annualcreditreport.com. and get that credit report. You can also create a My Equifax account and get 6 free Equifax credit reports each year. In addition, you can also get your free credit score. So monitor your credit score. If that credit score is dropping, that could be another sign of identity theft. You can also get a free credit report at VantageScore.com. So that's something you can do. Consider placing an initial 1-year fraud alert on your credit report. Fraud alerts serve as a red flag to those who pull your credit report that you may be the victim of identity theft. They encourage companies to take additional steps to verify your identity before granting credit in your name. So if you're going to a bank, you go to Wells Fargo, you're applying for a loan, they're going to see the fraud alert on your credit report, and they're going to go through additional steps with you to make sure that it is actually you. Could be inconvenient if you're applying for credit in your own name, but for the fraudster out there who's trying to get credit in your name, it's going to be an extra step that's going to be very important. Fraud alerts are free, and you only need to contact one of the 3 nationwide credit bureaus to have a fraud alert placed on your credit reports. The bureau will contact the other 2. So if you put a fraud alert on TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian will get notice of that also. So that's really important. If you're a victim of fraud, of identity theft, consider freezing or locking your credit reports. A lock or a security freeze have the same impact on your credit reports, but they aren't the same thing. Both a lock on your credit report or freezing or locking your credit reports, but both generally restrict certain access to your credit report. So unless you temporarily lift or permanently remove a security freeze or lock your credit reports, their creditors aren't going to be able to assess your credit to give you credit. So you control when creditors have access to your credit report. So if you go to apply for that car loan, you temporarily will lift your credit freeze or credit lock, get the credit, and then lock it back up again. You're going to want to submit an identity theft report to the Federal Trade Commission online. So go to identitytheft.gov. By reporting the theft online, you can receive an identity theft report and recovery plan. So that's really important. So make sure you report it. You could go to the police, the local law enforcement. A police provides you with a document saying that you've been a victim, which can be helpful to you restoring your credit. Or when you go to apply for a new apartment or something like that, having that police report that says that the reason your credit score has dropped is because of the fraud, it could help you get that credit that you're looking for. Report certain types of identity theft to certain agencies. For instance, you can contact your health insurance company's fraud department or Medicaid fraud office to report medical identity theft when someone gets medical care or medications in your name, or report tax identity theft to the Internal Revenue Service or the state of Wisconsin, the Department of Revenue. You might also consider notifying the state attorney general or consumer protection department, as they may have resources to assist you. So monitor your accounts for suspicious activity, including changes you don't recognize. The FTC advises you to keep a record of calls you make and the people you speak to, and keep copies of letters you send or receive. It's also a good idea to keep a written record of the actions that you're taking, such as closing accounts or disputing charges. So it could impact your credit score, so you're going to want to address it right away. Now, another thing that you can do is hire a service like Aura, LifeLock, or Identity Guard, where moving forward, they're going to monitor your credit. So if you have an Aura, AUR account, someone applies for credit in your name, you're going to get a notification. They're also going to notify you of changes in your credit score. So could be a good thing to have one of these third-party companies help monitor your credit, because if there's any suspicious activity, they're going to let you know about it. The problem is it's going to cost you anywhere between $9 and $25 a month to have this service. But when you think about the cost of having bad credit because of identity theft, investing with Aura or LifeLock or Identity Guard can be a really important thing. I'm so sorry that we even have to have this conversation, but it was really something I just wanted to bring top of mind, because we're seeing a lot of identity theft go on in our world now. Just want to make sure that you're taking steps and you are actively protecting yourself so that identity theft doesn't happen. So sorry if it's happened to you. If you have questions or you'd like to give us a call, or you have anything you want to say in the chat below, please feel free to use that. Really appreciate if you would subscribe or like my podcast, The Miller Law Chronicles. You can subscribe or like at your favorite podcast location, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple, anywhere where you enjoy your podcast. Please like or subscribe us. Thank you.